What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Civilization 5 with the 57 Civ World Battle. I hope you're enjoying it so far. There's been plenty of action. Every part of the map now is pretty much filled up. There's not really any space for any more settling. And yeah, it's quite exciting because for maybe the first time ever, we've managed to get like every region similarly filled. So yeah, I'm quite excited to see what happens now. There's contenders all over the map as well. You've got a North American contender in the Iroquois, Brazil in South America, another very strong looking civ. Africa, you've got just so many different civs all competing. There's so many big ones, particularly if you exclude like West Africa. So sort of you go from Benin east, there's a lot of big civs. They're also like medium sized. And the Songhai are probably there as well. They probably have the best shot out of these four to also join that group as well. Europe, Belgium seems to be doing very well, at least statistically. If they can, you know, sort of make this a little bit less border gory, a bit less like a snake, then maybe they have a chance too. But there's plenty of other strong civs in Europe. The two Sicilies look really good if they can sort of just find what they need to do. I think they could do really well as well. And Attila, also very strong out this way. Mongolia and Korea also looking really good in Asia. And in Oceania, some of these civs are looking pretty good too. Samoa's certainly got the population needed to compete. So yeah, it's going to be quite exciting. There's civs all over the map with good chances. And then there's Byzantium, who... Why'd you do this? Why? Can't believe they did that, but there you go. It's happened now. Nothing we can do. The Sioux, completely forbidden palace. They're still doing okay in here. This city, I feel so bad for them. That is rough. Two citadels really eating into their territory. It looks like they lost quite a lot of luxuries to that too. That is rough. But there you go. They can do it back. Obviously the Iroquois sort of crept into their territory as well. So yeah, not a good time for the Sioux. I'm sure they will be looking for some revenge at some point. We'll see what they get up to. Texas very quiet at the moment. Not been doing much for a while, but they're starting to build up, look quite strong. And these cities in particular getting quite big. These core cities, Austin, Houston, San Antonio. Dallas, not so big out here in the desert, despite having a ton of tiles. Because there's just no... You need like to get started. You need a little bit of food just to give you a boost. And then El Paso here, coming along nicely at 6 population. More importantly is, of course, they're controlling the Gulf of Mexico entrance. It's not super important, but it means they can get out. Oh no, they actually can't because of the Sioux. How have the Sioux grabbed so much land with this city? That's ridiculous. Have they been just buying tiles up? Like, that's crazy. Because considering at the start it would have only had like these tiles just around it, that's actually pretty impressive that it spread so quickly. I mean, yeah, wow. And Spain grabs another city in the Caribbean, again cutting off more of the Iroquois settlers, so I don't know where they'll end up. But yeah, good move from Spain, slowing down the Iroquois. There we go, the whole world's coming together to stop the Iroquois. It's about time. We're not just reliant on the Shoshone anymore. And Songhai versus Arabia. Well, that means absolutely nothing. Austria piecing out with Mongolia. As long as Austria didn't give Mongolia any cities, or even worse, Mongolia didn't give Austria any cities, we're all good. And that seems to be the case. We seem to have dodged the bullet there. Korea has pieced out with the Goths. Good job, guys. Really not important. Goths and Byzantium, that's a little closer. Another peace deal. Nothing changing hands. The Goths have been very quiet this game. They just sort of sat here waiting, I think, for Attila to probably take them out. Or somebody else, maybe. But most likely will be Attila at some point conquering them. Ethiopia, Brazil. Lots of Brazil denouncing Ethiopia. Ooh. Morocco versus Arabia, again, not too important. I guess, I don't even know who would take Arabia out at this point. Because Siam can't really do it. Byzantium's not really in the best of places themselves anymore after that dodgy peace deal. I feel like Arabia might just survive just out of just luck. Because like Egypt will struggle to get across here. Plus they're trading with each other, so they seem to be friends. South Africa, been quiet for a while since the fall of Shaka and the Zulu, but yeah, attacking Arabia is not going to change anything. Don't really know where they're heading here. Congo with some Gatling guns, which would suggest they have sort of a technological advantage in Africa. No one else with those yet. How are the religions doing? Let's have another look. Religion overview. I think there was 3, wasn't there? 3 main ones. It's more divided now. There's actually some other religions on the rise. I don't think the Goths religion had really kicked off before. Now it's up to 2nd. And I can't remember which other one hadn't really got started. Maybe it was Eastern Orthodoxy. But I only went over 3 of them. Oh no, Catholicism only had 1 last time. That's now starting to grow across Western Europe. So there you go. It never sorts, it almost gets it perfect, but for some reason Mali's up the top here. But so the most is Hinduism from India in 30 cities across Asia. Then the Goths have spread Sikhism to 24, sort of across Eastern Europe and Western Asia. Garamantes with 19 from Islam in North Africa. The Celts have got 17 out of Catholicism in Western Europe, and that may have actually spread across to the Iroquois. That might be why it's spreading a bit quicker, I don't know. I'll have a check. Eastern Orthodoxy then with 12 in sort of Southern Africa. Burundi, not getting so much of a good start. Ethiopia will probably take precedence there. Yeah, so only a little bit, but Catholicism is now sort of very present in Western Europe, France, and it has made it over to the Iroquois, so that will give the Celts a huge advantage because there's no religion in the Americas. Japan has pieced out with the Chinook. Nothing changing hands. Nope, good. Probably shouldn't. Oh. Good place to put a frigate. It can get out. It's all good. It's not completely wasted. Korea's starting to have a lot of units, a lot of boats, and they're starting to get some frigates as well, which are the best boat probably. But yeah, they're still fighting. Wait, I don't know. I think Korea might have pieced out with Siam, but Mongolia is still just sort of struggling away here. But yeah, I don't think anyone's getting through this gap for now. Certainly not Korea. Mongolia maybe eventually, but I think they need to peace out and then try again after they've put some units here and are better prepared from the start. Austria piecing out with Denmark, so they will survive. 2 fairly big cities in Europe, but they are sort of playing catch up. I mean, even Germany with their 3 cities, who have been very quiet and not really spoken about, they're doing fairly well. I mean, Warsaw now at 15. So yeah, maybe Germany could be the ones that sort of come out of Eastern. We'll call it Eastern for this game's sake. They've sort of only gone east from Berlin. Eastern Europe could be Germany's for the taking if they play it right and get some help. Obviously, Denmark's looking very good in the north as well and could make things awkward for Germany too. This city is being sieged a little bit, but I think it should be safe, surely. And Ethiopia declares war on Arabia. Okay, we'll see how this goes. Not too confident for Ethiopia, but we'll see. And the Shoshone with the war we've all been waiting for against Carthage, because they're so close to each other and so involved. Shoshone can't even get to the coast. That's one of the most ridiculous wars I've ever seen. Thank you, Shoshone. We will remember that one. Right, Belgium, what are you doing? They've got riflemen now. That's sort of the next stage for a lot of these civs. I've seen a few civs with them for a while, so it's not like Belgium are in the league. That is new though. Belgium with artillery. Oh my goodness, where did that come from? That is that's one of the game-changing units, so that's a good sign for Belgium. Not so good for France if they go to war again. I don't know if anyone else has artillery. Doesn't look like it. Brazil's not there yet, so yeah, unless the Iroquois maybe have it, then no. Of course, that's not also good news. The Iroquois will be there soon. Not so good news for the Shoshone. It's going to be harder to defend. But yeah, demographics, I take it. Korea's still leading, but they are not quite there yet. And Korea did sneak in productions. They broke some of the Iroquois' hold. They're now winning 3 categories. The Iroquois winning 3 as well. Brazil then leading pretty comfortably for population at 26 million. The Goths have pieced out with Egypt. Again, not really a mega important conflict for this game. I don't know. Is there anyone? No one else is going to have artillery. I think the Congo just got this. I think they got this in a peace deal, and I just never noticed. But yeah, I don't think they just took it off someone, did they? Did Burundi get this first? I don't know. Either way, the Congo have it now. I can't quite remember how it got there, but maybe it was just the Congo took it and I didn't notice that at the time. Africa is incredibly peaceful right now. This unit's taken some damage from somebody, no idea who, but apart from that, it seems very, very peaceful. Celts and Austria, the next peace deal. Europe, on the other hand, a little bit more messy, whether that peace deal will alleviate some of it. Not really, they're not next to each other. This city's still being held on to. The Sicilies, the very least, just have that. It will at least allow them out. It's down to here, at least. They've still got to somehow get to Byzantium and through Egypt, so probably Nether. But maybe they could conquer this city one day. I'm sure Byzantium won't last forever. The Huns versus Carthage, again, not super important. That's a bit bigger. The Shoshone, not scared of the Iroquois. Now going to invite the Chinook in as well. This could be a disaster for all of North America. I'm assuming someone else is going to join in, like California or somebody must be about to also attack, hopefully. Doesn't look like it. The Goths versus Arabia. Okay, Texas joining in, but Texas will not be able to do anything to the Chinook, so that's very, very scary prospect for Shoshone. How's South America looking? We don't give them too much attention. The Corral. This city is huge at 21. I mean, not as huge as some of its Brazilian neighbours, but still pretty big. And yeah, they're just such weird borders in South America. You've got the Inca all down the west coast. It's very messy. So yeah, certainly Brazil, the strongest down here. Could be... It's going to be very interesting when we get to the end, I'm sure. Because some of these big civs will never even really get to interact. You know, Brazil and Korea, for example, probably not going to ever do anything against each other. But we're going to have to pick who's done better in their region. Now, I would assume people would probably swing towards Korea because they've actually done stuff. They've been in wars and stuff. Sometimes just being entertaining can score you some bonus points. But of course, score will decide the vote and when you sort of get put in. I don't know where Brazil is on all of this overall. Let's just see who is above sort of the 700 mark. That is probably not... I'll probably only give us a few civs, but let's just have a quick look. 700. So the Iroquois are 806. Korea 708. So those are probably the only two. Brazil's down here 559. Yeah, 700 was a bit high. 600 is probably a better mark. That would include Belgium in our sort of top list. Still miss Attila would sneak in then, so that's the top like 4. Okay, there's not even only 4 civs over the 600 mark, so maybe 400. I'd say 500 would probably give you a top 10. That would give us probably 10 civs. The Iroquois have gone for autocracy. So how many is that for each one? 2 order civs with a total of 12 tourism. That's Brazil and Mongolia. And then 10 tourism between the 3 civs of the Iroquois, Japan and Korea, who have gone for autocracy. So I don't think there'll be too much struggle just yet. No one's going to have any dissidents or anything just yet anyway, and there's of course plenty of civs left, but tourism is not particularly huge. No one's got a major amount. Belgium, South Africa, Samoa, those would be some nice ones to get on your side, but you know, there's lots of 8s, lots of 6s, so it's going to be more about number of civs as opposed to which civs in this scenario. But yeah, at the moment it's 2 versus 3, so the next civ could easily go order. Not too worrying. Oop, no one else has picked one just yet. Finally, the Sicilies get this city out of the red. That will be good news. I will be attempting the same sort of thing very soon, although I have a lot less units than they do, so that's a bit worrying. In my Let's Play, if you're interested, be sure to check that one out. Oh no, I've got another sneeze coming. I can feel it in my nose. Just like that tickling feeling. Just try and keep it in. Makes it worse. Okay, so Chinook, you should be fine. I don't know why the Shoshone would even try this. I don't know who convinced them it was a good idea. But yeah, the Chinook could actually end up doing a lot of damage to them. And then, yeah, the Iroquois could just come on through and steamroll them. The World Congress welcomes city-states. Well, there isn't any city-states, so not really, but there you go. Gotta welcome somebody. Indonesia's still looking okay. I mean, they've not really kicked on, but at least they have settled 3 cities. They have good technology. Can't really complain about that, I guess. They are just doing their thing. Just sitting here. They could have done more islands, but they seem pretty happy. There is so much trade across the Pacific. It is crazy right now. Japan going straight down towards Australia, who is fighting Samoa again, but again, I don't really see Samoa making this invasion stick. They have a slight tech advantage, but they certainly don't have as many boats as before. And you can see Australia's got a few ships here, just keeping those units honest. Of course, the units will not want to be caught out in open water. The land units, that is, or Australia will certainly do some damage. Australia currently with 3 prime ministers just waltzing around. Why are they all called Malcolm? Isn't their current guy... I don't know who their current prime minister is. Need that. I don't know if he's that popular. Isn't he Malcolm as well? Like, why are they all called Malcolm? Let's see. Malcolm Turnbull, Malcolm Fraser. Maybe that's just one of the requirements to be Australian Prime Minister. Prime Minister right now. Oh no, Morrison. Okay. Not quite Malcolm. Pretty close. Begins with an M. So basically the same thing. Morrisons and Malcolms, you are now the same. Not a great game for India. We'll see how they're... Yeah, I've really not really mentioned them. They've not really done anything of note. They conquered this back, but that was very brief. And even... I'd prefer Siam just take them out, which is probably not going to happen, but there you go. Persia still just chilling here. Definitely the least mentioned Civ, probably, who's alive right now. The Mayans also down there for not getting much of a mention. Carthage only get mentioned when they declare a stupid war gets declared against them. Russia is very much ignored at the top of the map, not really playing much part in this game. But yeah, Persia really just blew it. They can still settle within their own territory. Like, there is tiles that are settleable in that land, but nope, they don't want to. So that was their own choice. Europa doing okay in comparison. They're not huge, but with their capital at 19 population, there's a chance they could cause India some problems. You know, if they teamed up with Siam or something, there's hope. Japan versus California. This could be pretty big. Battle off the west coast of the States. We'll see who comes out on top in this one. I think they seem pretty equal, actually. So this should be just a good naval battle between the two, but no real mega defeat or loss. It just should be a nice, good old boat fight. But things can change very quickly. You never know. All of a sudden, Japan will have planes, and it will all go horribly wrong. So those planes, for either of these, could probably reach each other. Great war bomber across this very small Pacific. Russia has entered the industrial era. They're still doing okay for population. I mean, Attila, who is still struggling against Parthia, I feel like he would be much more value in attacking Russia. I know they have a lot of units right now, but I felt that would be a more valuable thing to do. I don't know. Denmark is the next civ to enter the industrial era, the Baltic Empire up here. Looking okay, coming along. A good medium tier civ, at least for now. Wouldn't put them any higher than that. But yeah, looking good. I just can't believe Belgium managed to get artillery. It seems very early. I don't know if they've rushed it or... But then again, they have riflemen. So, really, they have frigates as well, which is like the leading sort of naval unit. So yeah, I mean, that seems to be pretty up to date. But yeah, if Belgium uses those at any point in the near future, they will have a big advantage being able to use artillery, particularly against cities. I mean, look at Belgium's city defense compared to France. 41 in Paris. Antwerp here is at 70. Big disparity in the level of defense. Obviously, the Great Wall still greatly helping Belgium, at least until the other civs get dynamite, which of course is artillery. So yeah, Belgium at the moment not just have the protection from artillery, or from cannons at the very least, but they also have their own artillery, so that's pretty cool. And South Africa completes the Taj Mahal wonder. And another ideology. Who's this going to be? The two Sicilies going order, which I think brings us back to 3 each. Yep, joining Mongolia and Brazil with a grand total of 0 tourism. However, I mean, despite having overall equal tourism, I know location is still a factor. Japan is somehow in dissidence. Not really sure how, because they are further away from Mongolia than Korea. No idea, but Japan has entered dissidence. But between them, they have 12, and the Order Civs have 12. But yeah, localness is a factor. But that's a bit weird that Japan has dissidence. I don't really understand. They've got good overall happiness, though. They should be safe from revolution for a while. Korea is the one that's most likely to flip if they go into dissidence, because they're only at 9 overall happiness now. So that could obviously go a lot lower. Whereas all the other civs up into the 28 as the lowest there for Mongolia. Pretty safe amounts. There we go. That is a 6th ideology. Iroquois, Korea, Japan, autocracy. 2 Sicilies, Mongolia and Brazil. So order is much more spread out. I mean, Brazil, Mongolia and the 2 Sicilies. Sort of a diagonal line between the 3, but all pretty spaced out. Fairly far apart. Whereas autocracy a little closer. Korea and Japan right next to each other. I mean, the Iroquois a little different. They're both in the far eastern part of their continents, but that's about it. That's where the similarities probably end between the 3. The Inca denouncing South Africa. That's big. That is the international politics. That's what was really. That was what was grinding people's gears in the year 1340 AD. It's pretty scary, actually. These guys have guns 100 years before EU4 is supposed to start. Belgium has artillery. They're forming ideologies in the 1300s. This is a very advanced, scary world to be living in. Indonesia denounces Mali. What has poor Mali done to deserve that? Little Mali just struggling here. 2 big cities. The Songhai could really do with those. It does look like maybe they're thinking about it. Just based on where these units are placed. I mean, if the Songhai could just grab these 2 cities, then they're straight away in with these other mid-tier, strong-looking African civs. They're right up there in the mix. I mean, it's going to take a team war to take some of these down. You're going to need Burundi. Well, Burundi's pretty safe because of their location. But South Africa would probably need to team up with Benin to fight the Congo. Something like that. It is kind of awkward, the Congo being in the middle. They're going to have a rough time. But yeah, all of these civs pretty well strengthened. None of them yet with an ideology. We'll see if one of them gets there sooner. Industrial era entered for Kambarantama. I think that's the leader of Burundi. So there you go. They should have just entered the industrial era. Nice. Maybe they will be next. I don't think so. I think some other civs are ahead of them. South Africa's tech does look a bit old. Not as good. So we'll see if it's them or not. Chinook. Poor Chinook. They go last, so I will eternally hate them. Just because their turn takes forever. Japan and California having their naval battle. It's this Japanese one brand. Oh wow, this is actually pretty cool. Lots of boats going at it in the Pacific. This one going straight for the city. Probably won't be successful, but yeah, this will be quite an exciting battle. A lot of privateers. Stop showing me that list. Of all the lists it could show me, it showed me that one twice in a row of happiness. Japan do have a lot more frigates here, and California is sort of more privateers. Should be quite an exciting battle. Japan looks like they have a slight numbers advantage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 versus 1, 2. Oh, there's more California boats here. 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's pretty equal actually. But California does have some more damaged boats, so it may be a rough start for them. And Japan does have some more in reserve. And Korea now is the second civ, at least I've seen, with an artillery unit, so that's a good advantage. Might be the best time to go after Mongolia if they don't have them. Songhai piecing out with Austria, and Parthia also piecing out with Austria. And Attila declares war on Benin. None of that particularly game-changing. What did that say? Spain and Attila, the next civs. Maybe in the industrial era is not as common as I thought, as Spain is the next civ to enter. And then shortly followed by Attila, who I thought would be doing a lot better. He's got some very big cities. But there we go. Here's the next Civ into the industrial era. Oh, Korea actually has Great War Infantry too. That is pretty scary. It is 1360 AD. Wow. They're making the most of that tech advantage. But there is still no... I mean, that is a site. I think Great War Infantry, that is the beginning. That signals the beginning of the final era, of the modern era, almost. And the fact Korea is there at turn 128 is very scary. We're looking at the Iroquois have displaced them though for production. And still are making the most gold, the most food, and have the most land. Got some nice averages here. Of course it's a little distorted because I have 0 and everything, so it's probably a little bit lower than the actual average. But the average population is about 6.6 million. There's Brazilians well above that, sort of 4 times higher than that, 4.5 times higher than that. The Iroquois with 3 times sort of average food, 3 times the average production. It's nearly, 3 and a bit times the gold. About 3 times again for the land. Soldiers, Korea's about double the average. Most civs have complete approval, it's just Denmark seems to be struggling. And Korea leading the world in literacy with almost a 20% advantage on the average now, which is scary because, so hang on, Korea 2 to 50. Korea 17% above the average, which means the civs at the bottom are probably still down at about 31%, which is a little scary for them. Samoa has peaced out with Australia, and Samoa did get their wish. They grabbed Brisbane here in northern Australia, and South Africa declared war on Benin. That doesn't matter just yet, but it could be if someone else gets involved. That could become quite important, but that will be it for this episode. So as always, if you have enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and a comment down below. Be sure to subscribe as well if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.